I've got one, and it's funny because you're talking about like the happy news, and I was thinking when I saw this, I was like, this would be a positive thing.
Yay.
I was thinking if we had a segment called Good News, Bad News, this would be perfect.
Okay.
So the good news is that the Republic of Ireland has voted overwhelmingly to overturn the abortion ban by 66.4 to 33.6%. It's a pretty overwhelming vote, right? A lot of support, anti-Catholic vote, and pro, one small step toward equality for women there. Now, I do want to say it's not exactly unrestricted abortion access, right? It's still very restrictive, but it's a little bit less restrictive than it was before. And I think right now it's like up to 12 weeks. You can go and have an abortion. And so that was like to know that was, going on in Ireland was such a wow thing.
Yeah.
And for me, I look at it and it's like, well, maybe I'll be moving to Ireland one day. You know what I mean? It's like, go to Ireland, get away from the U.S. because what's happening here
is the opposite.
Yeah, is the bad news. So basically, Arkansas is now the first state to ban medical abortions. So making abortion less safe for women is their goal. And what they are describing is they used a tactic, which is you say that an abortion provider has to have admitting privileges at a hospital in order to administer the abortion medication. So they can't give you the medicine unless they have admitting privileges at the hospital, which is ironic because the medication, the medical abortion is less dangerous. And I don't want to imply that abortion is a dangerous procedure because, frankly, if you look up the complication rates, there are other routine surgeries that have higher complication rates than an abortion. So it's actually a very safe procedure overall. But the medical abortion is one of the safest forms for women, and it's usually a very early an abortion form that would be used early in a pregnancy. So it's safe, it's early, it's effective. And they want to not allow it, right? So that they want women to have an actual medical procedure in order to have an abortion in Arkansas. And so they require the admitting privileges at the hospitals. But, I mean, I think we all know why they don't perform abortions in a hospital. Because of the stigma that is attached to this.
Yeah, a lot of them are religious as well.
You have religious hospitals, but you also have the reality that they know what's going to happen if they start to offer abortion at their hospital. I mean, I had an abortion clinic down the road from me, or a clinic, it wasn't, I don't know if it was Planned Parenthood, but I had a clinic down the road where they did offer abortion services, and that place was being, picketed, and I don't know what happened behind the scenes. I know in front of the building I saw things that would happen, but at their offices, I don't know what kind of threats they were getting or what, you know what I mean? And a hospital doesn't need this, doesn't want it. So you say to the abortion provider or to the reproductive medical provider, in order to perform abortions with this medication, you have to have admitting privileges at a hospital, and then you make sure that the hospitals understand socially what is going to happen to them if they give admitting privileges to anybody at this facility. So they had one case where somebody went around to like several different hospitals seeking admitting privileges, and they were told no. These hospitals don't want anything to do with this. They don't want to be tied to it. They don't want to be involved in it. They don't need that headache. Like, why would a hospital do that? Because it's just going to be a headache for them. And it's not even a necessary thing, but when they make it legally required, then they can't do it. And so this is a method of telling somebody, you have a right to do this, but we're going to remove the capacity. So we're going
You have to be literate.
Yeah, we're going to make it practically impossible and I mean that like from a practical standpoint, we're going to make this impossible for you. We're going to make it very difficult, very restricted, very hard to get access to, very hard to, you're going to have to pay for it. You're going to have to, there's all these things that we're going to make sure are steps in your waiting periods and all of that. And so we're going to make all these roadblocks to you exercising this right. But we're not taking your right away. Like, you still have a right. And that's a bunch of crap.
It totally is.
This is not about, you can't strip somebody of the capacity to practice, to exercise a right, and then say that, hey, but I didn't strip your right. Because you did. Effectively, you did.
I can't think of any other issue that is this contentious that is so restrictively regulated. I can't think of another one, really.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know any other medical procedure where our Congress is so concerned and involved.
Yeah,
like
not just medical stuff, but other things where people are up in arms, so to speak. Yeah, and the statistic for I think fatalities for medical abortion is like 0.00073. That's a statistic that I think I heard just last night on the show called Last Week Tonight with John Oliver. He did a segment. I recommend that you, if you don't know what trap laws are, which is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
He explains it brilliantly, and the way they make it so difficult. There are many ways. It's not just that you have to have the admitting privileges. If you do have a clinic, it has to meet hospital-like requirements. So he was talking about how you have to have hallways that are 8 feet wide. And that's so you can get 2 gurneys past each other in a hallway. And you don't need that in an abortion clinic. But something like that can shut a clinic down.
Right, they know it.
They're doing. And then, the 3-day waiting period. Okay, so what if I have to travel to, I don't know, Dallas, Fort Worth?
Some of these clinics are 100 miles away.
Oh, more
and,
than.
And it'll be like you have to, you go and you have the consultation, and then 3 days later, you have to come back, or you're going to have to stay and miss work for 3 days. It's like, this is restrictive, and there's no reason for it.
And what if you don't have the car or the money or the whatever?
Yeah.
And I feel fairly certain that there's an attitude that if you can't afford these things, then you can't afford having a child, and therefore you shouldn't be having sex. Like, these things are somehow connected, and it's spectacularally wrongheaded. You've talked a lot about it, Tracie.
And the lie is we're doing this to make women safe, and no, it's not.
No.
Make it safer for people who are going to have an abortion. No, it's not.
We're going to make you pay.
It's to limit access to the point that a person can't actually exercise a right, because you can't make it illegal, and so you're going to make it impossible instead.
It's to make you pay for your transgressions.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
Ugh.